always, we are here looking at what the market makers are trying to tell us. What are they trying to show us, and what are they trying to hide? It all really goes a long way. So we're going to do some TA. We nailed it last week, just being ready for these little scam attacks. But of course, our traders remain safe during these cascading liquidation events, and we're going to get to it. But as always, we're going to play a couple songs, get the vibes going. Enjoy the Novex Chill Vibes playlist from Suno, baby.
Been the long clutch, been a long ass minute. Long clutch, been a long ass minute. Pluck 'em home, clutch. Clutch came home. Yeah, the king touched ground, smart digging table, whole squad still around. Trade talk, war talk, shit talk, memes. We coming in clutch, that's the only regime. Forest to the feed, pines to the scream. Numbers stay cold, but the circle stay mean. Hard cheddar on ice, alpha in the steam. Night shift begins, forever supreme. Back from the woods, frost still on the bed. Chickens in the yard, but the signal crystal clear. Laptop on the stump, gap fill like a spear. One bar from the pines, make a timeline disappear. I've been gone a minute, y'all held it down clean. Still raising my food, still killing the dream. Snow on my boots, red candles in my past, but the table's still set for the ones who last. They want fairy tales, I serve rays of truth. Smartest DJs in the room since we jumped the booth. Yo, Andrew still here, yeah I'm cool, I'm straight. Roasting bread bags while I calculate. Coffee blacker than a blown out trade. Talk mad shit, but the P&L never fade. The P&L never fade. Cave door swing, beard full of cold and frost. Rug for the lesson, never count the cost. Chaos my religion, silence my exhaust. Smart DJ chaos, we the final boss. I speak in ticks, I watch decay. Gap like rent that the crowd gotta pay. Clutch say hush, whole room obey. Still counting candles while the weak ones pray. Sunset bleed red like a liquidation map, but the council still deep when the real ones rap. Trade talk turn war talk in the same breath. Smart DJs only, everybody else is death. From the forest to the space, the same creed, same team. We show up so you don't gotta, but you probably should've been here. Clutch came home, now the table complete. Smart DJ Legion can't take the seat. Trade talk, shit talk, whatever the vibe. We coming in clutch till the flatline arrive. Wi-Fi through pines, signal never weak. Hard charter stay cold, mind sharp like a cleaver. Night shift martyrs still holding the ether. Welcome home, king. Now we feast forever. Alpha don't knock, it just walks back in and owns the whole room. Refresh, still here. Final run out groove. Run out groove. Run out groove. Yeah. Yeah. Late night, glare off the glass on the screen light. Wallet on sync and it feels right. Keys in my palm, I don't need mic, I need math. Feed from the stream like a bloodline. Order books open like a skyline. Every little tick got a story, let the chart shine. Click once, root through a mesh, not a main line. Peer to the pier, cut the waistline. Carved out fees, keep the steak, lead a thin rhyme. We built brick by brick, but it's cold blocks. Nobody knows, see the flow lock. Old doors closed, we just walk through the roadblocks. Novex on my mind when the blocks slip. Whole crowd plugged in when the clocks tick. New world in the cold, let the lock slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Hands up for the ones who were boxed in. Now the gate wide open, we are logged in. No vex in the air when the charts slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Yeah. Fresh start, I don't ask who's behind that. I just see proof where the time at. Stamped on chain, let the facts do the combat. Street smart, numbers in my head like a drum line. Split second fills on the front line. Spread so tight, feel the slip on a flat line. Zoom out, you can see trends, not the scared talk. Every big shift start with small chalk. New rails laid where the slow trains deadlock. I see kids in the room with a screen glow. Running test nets like it's free throw. Lines of code looped up, that's the cheat code. Novex on my mind when the blocks flip. Whole crowd plugged in when the clocks tick. New world in the code, let the locks slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Hands up for the ones who were boxed in. Now the gate wide open, we are locked in. No vex in the air when the charts slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. From the floor to the chain, we connected. From the dream to the screen, that's progression. Every node, every soul, that's a section of a bigger kind of net. Not a prison, that's a blessing. From the racks in the bag to the phone tap. From the facts, from the lag to the fast track. When the crowd on the rails, you can't hold back. Whole globe in the flow, let it snap back. Yeah. New day, all of these grabs like a mural. Color in the wrist, keep the cure full. Step through the noise, let the clear cut the hollow. We don't wait for a desk or a phone call. One swipe sign and the stones fall. Old tall walls feel small when the code tall. Look close, you can see hearts in the hash rate. Little green dots on the map shape. Everyone posts like a drum in a jazz break. We hear bright eyes, never mind what the fear say. Every rough chart had a clear day. Every drawn line was a guess to the plan. Novex on my mind when the blocks slip. Whole crowd plugged in when the clocks tick. New world in the code, let the locks slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless. Hands up for the ones who were boxed in. Now the gate wide open, we are logged in. No vex in the air when the charts slip. Yeah, we trade that trust for the trustless.
Deep in the pines, no Wi-Fi, just vines. Charts spread out, Fibonacci designs. CME gaps like ghosts in the mist. Candles burn slow, every wick got a twist. Solitude, silence, he carves out the play. Bear bully dances, no steps go astray. Alpha moves sharp like a hawk on the prowl. Numbers don't lie, he's the wolf with the howl. Clutch in the shadows, move so divine. Forest in the market, both intertwined. Catching that green while the trees sway fine. Legend on the charts, his name's a shrine. Heard the wind whisper, shorted along. Wrote a sonnet and leverage a charting song. Green candles sprout like moss on the bark. Red candles drip like blood after dark. Hedge fund whispers, they envy his grit. Trend lines obey when his cursor's lit. No discord noise, just the owl's debate. He swings like a pendulum, never too late. Honeycomb scatter, his trades leave a trace. Charts in his mind, no screen to replace. Cold air bites, but the profits stay warm. Market storms rage, he thrives in a swarm.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I mean, I could always run a couple more songs, dude. These Novex songs are fire. Sometimes I wonder if what is it, a Grammy award winning producer, created these songs. But no, it was just Madam Clutch and myself, mostly her. And some of those were made by Buddy also. But check out Suno, check out Novex. We got a little bit of something all over the place, baby. But let's tap in with everybody, see who's up here, and say what's up, man. Andrew, are you up here? How was your weekend, bro?
What's good, homie? My bad, I kept clicking mute a few times there. But I had a good weekend, man. I spent it with my stepdad. We had a good time. We watched some football. I think the games this weekend were, I mean, not going to say all around good, but I think every day gave you a good game. And dude, it was fun. And I think the market was interesting this weekend all around. So really getting to the charts this morning. I haven't done too much chart catching up yet today, but I'm sure we're going to do it here in a few. But what's up, guys? This is Trade Talk powered by Novex Finance. This goes out to Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, LinkedIn, Twitch, everywhere. So regardless of where you're tuning in from, make sure you're following me, Clutch, Novex. Make sure you like, you sub, make sure you repost it, the comment. That way we can really help some people in the market. That's our whole goal here. You know, we do a lot of streaming on here. We look at charts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So don't miss this one. But trading gives us some downtime. So we stream some poker. I think we got a big poker announcement coming up on this episode too. And I stream a little bit of chess. So, you know, we do everything in our downtime. So really make sure you guys tap in. Guys, the way this episode goes, though, is it's all about making straight to the money. The profit max are in the building, baby. But yeah, guys, so in this episode, it's all about staying. So I generally do a quick check-in question, generally something that can keep us ahead of some news that has some relevant market impact. We kind of like everybody's thoughts on it. And kick it over to Clutch. He takes a look at the charts. He lets us know what he's seeing. He lets us know a range for the next couple of days. He lets us know a direction for the next couple of days. And then we try to call trade of the show. But dude, let's get into it, guys. And what I want to do is I want to throw out my intro question real quick. And then I'll tell you guys a little bit more about Novex so the panel can think about the intro question. So here's what I got for our check-in for the day. The Philippines, smaller country, but there's nothing wrong with that. The Philippines just put its entire national budget on blockchain. And I think this is really cool. I think most people in crypto probably think this is really cool. But how long do you guys think we see until other countries follow suit here? You know, I remember us talking about this over a year ago, and the Philippines was throwing it out there, and the consensus was that it was probably talk and not going to happen. And now we're seeing that it's going to happen. So how long do you guys think till other countries follow suit, if ever? Right, maybe not, but we'll get into that. Guys, before I check in with everybody, though, let me tell you about Novex real quick. Novex is our decentralized exchange of choice. It was built by traders for traders. It's the people's exchange, baby. But there's really so many reasons to be on Novex. The first one is it's got all the bells and whistles that you're going to want as a trader. Me, Clutch, and Ghost. We've worked with everybody when it comes to these major exchanges. We've had deals with them all. And, at the end of the day, we found a lot of stuff we didn't. So we took everything we liked and just threw it into one, right? That's how we came up with Novex. The second thing is fees. Yeah, if you do any amount of trading, fees or something that hits your bottom line, there's some overhead that you want to be minimal. So we made sure the fees here are minimal because as traders, we like minimal fees. Then the third reason you want to be trading on Novex is, as a whole, the traders on Novex are profitable. And that's unheard of. Like I said, we've worked with everybody, and there's no other exchange that we know of that, as a whole, the traders are profitable. And here's why they're profitable. A, it's because we do trade talk every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So like I said, make sure you're subbed and here and ready for it every week so you can stay ahead of the curve. But the second reason is the Novex Telegram. You're going to want to make sure you're in the Novex Telegram chat, because I share some trades in there. Clutch shares a bunch of trades in there. And then Ghost shares every single trade that he's making in there. Every time he longs, he lets you know. Every time he shorts, he lets you know. If he trims some profit, he lets you know. If he trims a little stop loss, he lets you know. So that's how we go the extra mile to make sure the traders on Novex are profitable. We give you all the hand hold, and you're going to need to be successful. And then it's up to you to just click the button. So, guys, like I said, make sure you show up and follow, like, share all that stuff. So other people show up too. But the real important thing to do is to jump in the Novex Telegram. That way you guys can get in on all the action. That's enough about Novex for now. We're going to talk some trading and talk some markets. So I want to get in this convo, and I want to get on the chart, baby. But just a reminder of the convo, the Philippines just put its entire national budget on blockchain. I'm wondering how long you guys think until we see other other countries follow suit. And speaking of other countries, we're gonna start in another country this morning. We're gonna start with the homie across the pond, Alex. Alex, how you doing? I guess your name's Say So now, or something like that. But what's up, Say So? What you say so? And what do you say about the Philippines putting this entire block national budget in the blockchain? You think it's gonna be long before countries follow suit? And how was your weekend, bro?
Yeah, it was good, man. I've just been cooking in Discord with the dev and stuff, thing. But yeah, it's interesting, man. I know Korea started all the stable coins with Sui and stuff. I guess El Salvador's getting to that place. There's another one over there that's you know really bigging up on Bitcoin. But yeah, I hope it's a start, and hopefully more places follow suit, man. Obviously, was it the Clarity Act's coming in soon, so that'll have some effect as well. So once America's on board, everybody will follow suit, man. But it's good to hear. It's good to hear you had a good weekend with the old man and stuff, man. And yeah, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, man, it was a fun weekend, and man, that Sui news is actually so that's a whole topic in itself too. I probably should have made that a topic of the day, but there was some big news around Sui. I didn't even look at that chart, but I imagine that I think what the server they didn't pay their server bill or something like that, and everything went down.
I don't know. I haven't seen what they haven't. Did they release? I haven't popped into the Sui Discord since it happened. I know I popped into Addy's space, but he didn't give a report of why it actually went down the other day. It was down for like 5 hours, the whole blockchain. But the Sui guys made a space. Super bullish on Sui. Nobody can sell. So it was good fun. But yeah, I don't know the report. I'll check in on Discord and see
I
what
can't
they've
sell
got
my
from.
Sui. I
Yeah.
just tried to cheat it all. It says, sorry, sir, you're holding less than $1 billion worth of Sui. You are not worthy. Where do I file a grievance?
Well, you can try and get in touch with the foundation, but they take about 7 months to get back to you.
So their first Solana shutdown. Remember all that crap Sui talked about Solana and the shutdown and oh, we never. This is okay. So that was a deliberate halt, or you're saying you don't know exactly, Andrew, but you're thinking it was because they didn't pay their server, bro? No way. You got to be messing with me, bro. You're telling fibs here, the wrong kind of fibs.
No. There was just a SUI outage between what was it about 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, like was it like 3 o'clock Eastern? No, yeah, about 3, 4 o'clock Eastern till about 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm just checking the thing, and they said they haven't given a report. It's under investigation. Da, 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 da.
That's crazy.
Mm.
How I mean, I wasn't really on the timeline this whole weekend. When did that happen exactly? Was that this weekend?
On the 14th.
On the 14th? Oh wow, I'm freaking late.
Yeah.
That was Wednesday.
Mm.
Jeez.
Oh, I didn't know it happened on Wednesday. I thought it happened over the weekend too.
Yeah,
It
because
was
I'm looking.
on.
Well, yeah, no, I'm looking at the chart and it didn't really have an overreaction, but that's because it had already happened. This latest drop was just kind of the whole market dropping.
Yeah. Well, everything's down 10% across the board, really, isn't it?
I wish somebody would have warned us.
Oh, I wonder, should have tuned into Trade Talk on Friday.
That would have been an idea.
Mm. But I see some of the guys cooking in the Telegram, man.
Yeah, we're cooking, baby. We're cooking. But
Well,
no,
well,
but
Andrew, here's what's hilarious. So I went in the TG before I went to sleep. This was 2 days ago, and I was like, man, I don't like this consolidation here. Something's got to give. Frick, the next morning, Ricky, we had that big old drop off, and you get like 3, 4 people immediately posting a P&L card of 300-400% plus. One dude, he closed like 150% and closed half. He's like, thanks, clutch. And it's funny because the whole TG is starting to get a sense now of my bearishness in which pockets. Because sometimes I'm bullish, sometimes I'm bearish, but when I'm bearish, I'll let y'all know. And I did. And a gang of people took advantage of that. To me, if more than one takes advantage, that's a gang. And several people took advantage of it, not including myself, which is what makes it even better, bro. I hate winning alone. I mean, I love winning. I'm not gonna like sit there and capitulate because I'm the only one winning. But if I had a choice, I'll always choose winning with others. And dude, that was a cool moment. How I felt it within 6, 8 hours, because I only slept like 6, 8 hours, woke up to the freaking pain and all that stuff happening. So that was pretty freaking sweet and a cool little fun Novex weekend story in which no one was really short. Everyone kind of felt, oh, this is we went along here, and I was like, wait, not too fast, and we absolutely cooked, bro. So that was I don't know about you guys if you caught that on the TG, but bro, that was freaking sweet for me personally. As I typically say things, and usually people haven't taken advantage of it as much. Not this time, and that's what makes us show up and just keep being more diligent. The more people are applying these things and just winning, man. Honestly, this was pretty freaking sweet.
No, it's always awesome to see people win. And like I said, there I don't think there's any other exchange. No, we say this every episode, right? And nobody's ever reached out to me and be like, well, actually, on such and such exchange, everybody's profiting this much. It's just there's no other exchange that is happening, and like these are the reasons why it's happening. But let's check in with Massimo, man, before we get to these charts, man. I want to hear what Massimo thinks about this. Philippines put it on blockchain. I'll share a little of my opinion before I throw it over to Clutch. But what's good, Massimo? How you doing this morning, homie? And what do you think about the Philippines putting their entire national budget on blockchain?
Good morning, fam. I mean, it's hard to say that it's anything but bullish for crypto in general, right? Anytime you get big institutions, big organizations, or countries, right, that are committing to a more a digital society as far as assets go, it's bullish for crypto. So, my question really is, though, as there would be, I guess, with anything new with crypto, right? Like, are we going to come across a situation to where, like, for example, you get your Phantom wallet rugged, right? Are you going to have like, are there going to be some of these smaller countries that maybe doesn't have the same type of cybersecurity levels and certain things that we have, or countries that are just smarter than them and say, hey, you know what? We've been trying to take over this country. I know a great way to do it. Let's seize their freaking digital assets and pretend we don't know and help them get it back and put us in a good position. I mean, it just opens the door to more shenanigans, but at the same point, it's obviously super bullish in my opinion.
Oh, I'm with you on the shenanigans. I think that inevitably happens to some country eventually. It might even be the U.S. Who knows? But I think with their country, with their everything being on blockchain, I think it'll be like their national dollar on probably a closed source, blockchain or whatever. Maybe like just the transactions are open source. But I'd imagine that if you're doing it with your own dollar, you'd have some type of rewind mechanism built into the blockchain, sure, or forking mechanism. But I do think like I said multiple times, that I think the inevitable outcome of digital currency is CBDCs backed by Bitcoin. And then I do think that we're going to see some country get hacked for like an unfathomable amount of Bitcoin. And then everybody's like, well, what do we do? Like it happened.
Right. And I think that's the only way it's not bullish, because if then how it is. Like the second something like that happens, people run with that narrative and they're like, see, crypto isn't secure,
Dude, I can totally see that happening. And I think that at that point in time, that'll probably be a big thing on season power back from the crypto people in some capacity, or giving us something that's more easily tracked. Or that could even be the reason that they say, well, we got to fork Bitcoin. We can't let an entire country's economy get trashed because some hackers stole 1% of Bitcoin. We're just gonna fork it from this point. And while we're at it, we're gonna change Bitcoin to proof of stake. So I do think they're gonna do some treacherous stuff. Good stuff though, Massimo, man. Good to hear
Hey,
from you.
where there's
Oh,
money, there's gonna be treachery. You're absolutely right, man.
well, there's money, there's treachery. No, I'm with
Dun,
it.
dun, dun.
I think this I think it's cool to see the Philippines do it, and I think it's probably easier to get stuff like that done in a smaller country like the Philippines, to where there can't be as many moving parts on the federal government of the Philippines as there is in the United States. So like I think in the United States, the major hurdle that we have for ever getting there is there's so many things that have to happen. It's probably got to go like through the House. It's probably got to go through the Senate. The president has to sign off on it. Then it'll probably be an amendment, so it has to be ratified by like 2/3 of the states or something like that. I'm wrong in the exact number, but just like those three things there, man, it might take the United States 10 to 15 years to get that done for real, especially with all the bureaucracy we have. So like I'm hopeful. I think we're seeing a good design done by and not even necessarily a design, but showing what's possible from some of these smaller countries like El Salvador, right? Everybody said it's impossible for a country to become somewhat dependent on Bitcoin, and El Salvador is showing that they're being pretty prosperous. And then people were said it was impossible to put a government budget on blockchain, and Philippines just did it. So, well, I think we can figure it out in the United States. I think we got a lot of hurdles to go through to get there. And maybe Donald Trump enacts martial law, and that's part of it. I'm kind of hoping for that. But let's get to it, man. Clutch, how you doing this morning, bro? What do you think about this national blockchain budget, and what do you see in our homie?
So can you give me specifics on the whole thing with the Philippines?
Yeah. Let me pull up some notes here real quick. Give me 2
Yeah,
seconds.
just
I got it right here.
because I mean that's kind of decent, right? Like that is something you want to see for crypto.
It's so they're integrating their entire national budget into a blockchain based platform called Digital Buy-in Chain. It records every stage of the budget process, creates a tamper resistant ledger. I don't know how that's possible, but maybe. It it just they say it's aiming to misuse public funds, and really that's all just like the basic summary of the article that I had went through this morning. There was nothing too I've never heard of that chain before, to be real. So I assumed it was like their own closed source chain or something along those lines, but they don't have any too exciting details on like how does the money go from the chain to the rest of the world, like. And I feel like a boomer saying that because people are always like,
Right.
well, how do you get your money out of Bitcoin? But like, I'm curious, how do I get my Filipino dollars, from their blockchain to
Right.
real US dollars?
Well, I guess the question is who's their Binance? Or sorry, their Coinbase, right? For the off-ramping for governments, maybe Kraken. I'm assuming they're using Binance. The thing is, them going on the blockchain to me just kind of tells me they don't really have much, right? Like their whole worth, or what exactly is the lingo used there for the announcement? Like which budget is it that they put in there? Okay. Andrew gets the delay, so he should get it here in the next like 3 seconds, maybe.
3, 2,
Two,
1.
1. Oh,
Cue.
sorry, I was stuck on mute. Anyways, it's the Philippines, bro. Unless you can buy Lechon and Ponset with the freaking blockchain now, I'm bullish, right? Like uh, the little freaking what are they called? We just had some. What's the things we all the dumplings, dude? If you can buy dumplings with crypto, I'm all in. Let's freaking run it up. Now, if you give me a bonus free sauce packets every time I use Cardano, then I don't want extra sauce. I'll save that for Massimo or anyone else that enjoys buying dead chains like Cardano. But anyways, I honestly, the Philippines not trying to make it sound more than what the reality here is, which is just financially speaking, the Philippines, what do they have to do with anything? What are they going to move? Is Vietnam really going to follow suit because these dudes did that? Or, like, I don't even know all the specifics, but sure as heck, they're like not necessarily the black sheep of Asia, but they're different. It's just different culture. It's not the same Asian culture. And like to me, they're not the ones that are the trendsetters. Um, again, like I think it would be a funnier deal if it was like Thailand or Bangkok. And now you have like all the lady boys of frickin' Thailand frickin' using the blockchain and something. I think that would hit more in the UK and US with just some form of rainbow flag approach to this because from a government standpoint, you're literally talking about a government with very little assets, moving assets on crypto. If anything, I'm kind of bearish because why now? Why not when El Salvador did it? Why not when ETFs were approved and you still had a shot to buy Bitcoin at 40, 50K? So when you start seeing big players like this do it, because no matter what, they may not be a wealthy country like a lot of the other countries, but they're still a big player in comparison. And that's like, it screams Harvard all over again. Harvard was used as exit liquidity. What was the price they bought, Andrew? 115? 100? Anyone know what's Harvard's first bullet? And then they buy again. So like
Harvard got what they deserved.
Harvard got what they deserved. The Ivy Leaguers always, they make fun of anyone that's never been there. You're not cool unless you attended one of our, club programs, and you were just used as some of the funniest exit liquidity ever. If y'all recalled, we did a space and I was giggling the whole time because it was hilarious. It justified me dumping all my bags all across the Harvard ecosystem spaces. It was quite hilarious. It was right around the whole Astra to $3 or $5 or 10 or whatever nonsense people were spewing. So yeah, man, this just falls under the tree of that leaf will fall. And what does it really
Huh?
do for the world when it's just one leaf? So the Philippines is one leaf. I need the whole freaking world's leaves to fall. Every one of these nations to really want to enter the blockchain, tokenize everything for it to really be bullish. Because one small player like this, bro, that's a red
Yeah,
flag, if
that's cool.
anything.
Damn, that's pretty crazy.
You're
Oh,
hot
sorry, no, I
micing,
got off
Andrew.
mute. Sorry, Drew walked in. My bad.
Anyways, but yeah, man, that's what I think. It's a whole big nothing burger with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of lines up with what I was saying, just because the Philippines is just a small country. I think eventually everything's on blockchain. It just is how it goes. But I don't know if that's how we view it, and the timeline is kind of extended, in my opinion.
Do we know exactly when they did it?
Let me pull up the actual article and see if there's a date in it. I don't recall seeing an actual date though.
Right. Because I think that matters, right? Like if this is old news surfacing now, even scarier. Lines up with what I'm saying. But if it just kind of happened, it's breaking news, might just be a nothing
Well, they
burger, not
started
positive,
planning
not
it about a
negative.
year ago. So
Okay.
I know they started planning it like a year ago, but the article doesn't give an exact date, but it just says confirmed that in 2026.
When was it published? The article? Does the article have a date?
The 17th, so just a couple days ago.
Oh, so that's fresh. That's from
Yeah.
Saturday. Hmm, I don't know, man. Those are usually nothing burgers. To me, once players like that start acting like they're big players, it just means they're being used as exit liquidity. The big players don't ever announce they're big playing. You just realize, oh damn, you have a big old bag. kind of like El Salvador. By the time their announcements and everything went live, they had already been accumulating and setting up their mining facilities. So it was
Yeah,
more
yeah.
so delayed news, but hidden. And not saying El Salvador is powerful in any stretch of the imagination. It's a small country, people wise, all that fun stuff. But per capita now, how much they're worth to the amount of people that they have, El Salvador is quickly becoming one of the powerhouses of the world because of crypto. So I definitely see the merit in wanting to do that if you're any one of these, Caribbean countries, these poor Latin America, Central America, or Southeast Asia. It's the poorest areas in the world, right? Some areas in the Middle East, the Southeast Asia pockets, and you have that weird spot in Europe, right? When people barely account or count it as Europe, and then you have, there's this area over here. So yeah, I think that's a smart play for sure, and I just think it's something they should have done a long time ago. Like, why now? You know, I mean, better now than never, but why this late? And that's kind of where my head really starts going with it because governments have more information than we could all ever dream of, and yet they stay getting the goods late.
I'm with you. Let's look at some charts though, homie. What you seeing?
For sure, for sure. Well, you guys know we're gonna get through this TA. First things first, we're gonna go to Coin Market Cap and really get the whole sentiment of crypto. I kind of foresaw that fear and greed score being at 52 or 55, I'm sorry, and it was pretty weird. It went to 52 on Friday. Here we are at a fear and greed score of 45 today. Total market cap of crypto is still holding over 3 trillion, but under the nasty resistance of 3.3 trillion. As we got close a couple days back, that's where I felt the fishiness, and we had $100 billion wiped almost immediately from the market. It was one of the nastiest pullbacks that we've seen for a bit since October 10th. So the fact that we're starting to see big liquidation days like that consistently, that's another sign that we're not in a healthy uphill uptrend market. Sorry, not uphill. It is an uphill battle, but it's not in an uptrend when you continue to have massive liquidations like this. This is starting to really give us, this fishiness. The altcoin score is at 28, nothing burger, but the two that you really want to look out for is that lowering of the fear score is typically when the pumps start coming. It just feels that they're going through the motions here just based off of what these stats are saying. Market cap being at 3.15 is not helping. Okay, now let's get to the good stuff, right? That's just the basic, that's the fun stuff. Not right. No one enjoys just the kind of R&D stuff, but you always got to look at coin market cap just to see where you're at. On the daily for Bitcoin, on the CBTC1 exclamation, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, they close on the weekends. So you get no action from Bitcoin. And on this candle here, I'm going to zoom in so it looks easier. On this candle here from Friday, we had a close. Okay, that candle closed at 95,665. We were perfectly in line with leaving a big old gap, especially since after we left that bag or that gap. Let me go to the 6 hour, right? Because you can kind of just see where the market starts trading. You see that we were immediately above there, but before we went anywhere, they closed the gap. They always do that, and part of doing that, what it really comes down to is understanding that these areas matter. So in that, this was a couple weeks ago, or a little bit less than a couple weeks. This is like a week ago. So we had this area here, and then on Friday, this is the candle that closed. So on the very first candle we opened yesterday, this is where it gets interesting because there's going to be a gap from there to there, but instead they quickly close that. I mean, you can see it right on the daily. We wicked right to the candle. And if anything, there's some bit of a gap that we didn't cover because by the time on the height of this is at 95,600. On the close of this is 95,665. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've paid attention, I always say I respect 50% closes. Well, how about a 95, 98, 99% close? You're going to fully respect that. So no gap to the upside. That's dangerous as heck because you really want to leave a gap up there, especially when you pump up. It was all set in stone. Let me show you. If we had left that gap open, it was all set up, right? If we had left another gap right here, so let's just assume, we had left a little gap right there. If it was still open, it was set up for that cascading dump that happened for us to just make our way all the way to the CME gap. But we didn't. Instead, we closed the gap right before they did the hammer. And we can go down on the 4-hour candles and look at it even closer. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles on the 4-hour. They closed the gap 16 hours before they closed this, and not a coincidence that immediately on that closure, they freaking sent the market. Let's go track it with how long after that closure. Look at this. You see the closure of the gap? Boom, boom, within an hour. I'm sorry, 4 hours. Let's go to the 1 hour. Boom. They closed the gap 1 hour. So we all know that as soon as that gap was closed now, 1 hour later, they dropped this disgusting hammer on all the longs, thinking, well, we're above the 200. Because if you look on Bitcoin, the one that doesn't close on the 1 hour, right? We were just trapped here. When people saw the EMA, the 200, they probably started aping. And then look, they gave us 2 more legs down to really wreck you. I also said at this point, this was funny because I timestamped and I said, hey, that's I was talking about weirdness right in these pockets. I was like, I don't like this. This is weird. Boom, hammer. Then hammer comes last night, and I'm talking about and I warned us. I said, hey guys, no matter what, just understand there's bearish momentum on the 1 hour. And sure enough, the 21 crossed, the 50 is about to cross. And it makes sense why when you long, when you know you have this bearish momentum, you start closing trades. Boom, I'm going to take it, reposition, take it. I'm going to reposition, close rejections because bearishness, right? And this is just on the CME. The fact that they did not leave this gap, look at this. This should have been a gap, right? Look at on the 1 hours where you can see the area of the gap even closer. And that's the interesting part. I don't know if you guys are excited like me, but these are the things that really separate people like me and regular traders that just don't catch on to, look at this. Big old gap, candle opens, they realize there's a gap, they go close it before they do anything within a couple hours. It's freaking awesome, amazing to start seeing these things and really, honing that in. So anyway, so now what we want to see is the CME. We know it's delayed, it closes. What bullishness or bearishness is coming? So bullishness wise, we freaking got cooked and we lost the bullish area that we had. We're now below the 8. So now the 8, if we lose the 21, or if we continue to stay underneath the 8, the 8's just going to push us towards the 21. And look at that. That's pushing us towards, that 89,000. But more importantly, is pushing us to that 90,000 support that we desperately did not want to lose. And on the daily, we now have 0 bullish momentum coming unless we get above the 8 and drag the 8 towards the 50 and the 200 EMA. Does not seem like it's doing that. To find confluence, let's go to Bitcoin futures that never closes on Binance, not the CME, and let's go see if we see anything similar on the daily. So on the daily, well, it gets even worse. Now, not only are we above the 21, below the 8, but look at where the 50 is. The 50 is way down there when over here, the 50 is above us. The 50 is below us here. That's already a big difference. But here's what I always tried to explain to people. It's the way my visuals work. But if I look at the daily, right, we all know that they drag these EMAs down, but they can't keep going. So they ricochet them up just so then they can ricochet them down And all these clusters here that you start seeing, right? It's they want to get that liquidity, so they let it pump, they grab liquidity, so then you start seeing those drops. So let me show you, because on the daily, the 21, the 8 was all down here. Now they dragged it up to the point to where it even crossed above the 50. Bitcoin was front running the CME Bitcoin to thinking it's going to finally rip through the daily 200, finally go to 100K. Everyone says, oh, we got a higher high. This is a higher high than this. I agree. But this is where all the noob traders that don't know what's up. I know you know a bunch of them. All of them confirm 100K here. They go to 100K, they get liquidated. And then they claim it was right after it gets cheated on, finally pumps up to 100K. Then they act like they're tight. They're freaking garbage. Don't listen to people like that. The reality is that this may be a higher low than here, but it's still a higher, lower high. You're still following an absolute disgusting downtrend. That's why on all these peaks, it's easy to take profits and just short. This is what I keep doing because it's obvious that this is a false breakout. You know what I'm saying? Like you're looking at the micro and then you're longing and getting wrecked. This little wick right here wrecks most longers because they use high leverage and they missed out most of this move because if there were real traders, they're longing with conviction on these trends, right? If they're real traders, they're longing these pockets. They're not waiting for this. Oh, we're high. Now they long here, don't close. They DCA here, get liquidated here. Beautiful, right? If I'm a market maker, I know how to destroy people just by letting them have this. I let them have this means higher low or higher high. Oh, yeah, we're back, baby. Most people aren't going to close their trade here and realize they're going to go grab liquidity. Savvy dudes that realize this higher high is a tell that they're going to give it another attempt, maybe create a head and shoulders here, right? But something, right? They're going to do something by the feels of it, but look at the head. This could be the shoulder. So any savvy trader on this signal here, instead of longing there, they short, knowing that I'm going to long down there. I'm going to long whenever it finds support and I start seeing that big wick. And now you can ride the trade to 100. See, everybody thinks they're right when they say 100K down here, but they keep getting liquidated going to 100K because every time they go up, they keep longing and then they keep getting wrecked. The real special ones are ones that can be like, hey, we're going to go to 100K, but it's going to happen around this time, right? So we've been predicting a lot of these breakouts based off of these same theories, but it's easier for us because we understand the bearish momentum. So we know to take profits. We know to tell people in our TG, guys, these are overextensions. They're going to go grab liquidity. Watch out. Now, this is the daily time frame. And, we do these shows Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So at this point, right, you're probably thinking it's too good to be true. It is. This is unicorn behavior. It's crazy to have a room full of traders that just rarely get freaking wrecked. And you can follow it on the blockchain and follow it through the stats on Novex. But anyhow, on the daily, it looks different than futures, right? So we got to really know that this is front running. So now let's go see what's it front running towards. Are we going to see any bullish momentum left? Well, on the 6 hour, we barely held on to the 200. We're there, but now the 8's coming down. We rejected the 50, and if the 8 catches up, this should bring us towards these bottom levels. Confirmation is 4 hours going to start giving us crosses. Sure enough, 8 already happened. 21 is coming. Good luck, 200 here soon. That means the 2 hour is probably below the 200 EMA. Sure enough, we did go below. We're above it now. But what I'm saying with these rejections, if we lose this 8 even further, we're right below it. If we lose this 8, it's going to start pushing down because these EMAs, traders use that to short or long. If we're below, they short. If they're above, they long. It's literally like an easy way to trade, but it just depends on what type of size and leverage because we use high leverage, I don't just short little pockets like this. I'm trying to short the wicks. I'm shorting to the 8. When I'm below the 8, I usually want to long to the 8, right? So it's a little different mentality, but it all comes down to your own personal strat. But on 2-hour basis, we're barely holding on a 200 and the 8. Not good. That means on the hour, bearishness, sure enough, right? That 50 crossing under the 200 is imminent. It's coming. The 30-minute, everything already happened. So now domino effect, we're in the sequence of the 2-hour EMAs are next. Once those fall, the 4 hours, then the 6, then the 8, right? And then look how nasty the 8 looks because we're below the 200, barely above the 50. We super outran the 8 only to lose it drastically. Look at the percentage from losing the 8 here and where we fell. Okay? Look how far away we are from the 8. 2 freaking percent. If you're at a 50x leverage, you got to liquidate it. If you're on margin, if you're on a cross, you're not. But if you're in isolation, you just got cooked. But anyways, so the 8 hours are coming. Then the 12-hour. And that's not good. Nasty rejection on the 200. 8 coming down under the 21 soon. Please don't. We need to get above this 21 and above this 8 pronto. That's back to 95K. Oof. We've been struggling to stay here, and now you're telling me I have to get there to even have a chance? Who's going to buy next? Taiwan? Singapore? Who's going to tokenize their freaking blockchain next? We need some bullishness because upcoming bearishness now on the smaller time frames and on the daily. If all of that bearishness happens, we're going to lose the 8 even further, head below the 21, and then the 8 and the 21 are back to being against me, like it has here where we went down, right? Look at all these big drop-offs. But the real one is we hadn't dropped off here after big bullish move. This is a big bullish move. This is a big bullish move, right? So anyways, now that we dragged EMAs positively, we have not had that with bearish momentum soon after since back here when we were dragging all the EMAs and we finally lost them here in this pocket at 110K. And again, this is the daily time frame. All we did was go from 110 to 80 or 40%. When the 8 and 21 cross under the 50 and they send you down to pockets that you don't want to see, like weekly 200s. You see what I'm saying? Nasty. And here's the worst part. I warned you guys, this was the cool part about Friday. We were wicking. And we were like, hey, this rejection's nasty. That weekly under the 50 is coming. They're trying to stop it. I don't think they are. Too much bearish momentum on the biggest of time frames. Sure enough, that 21 is going to cross under the 50 and it's going to push everything together. So you want to look at all this upcoming, bearishness on the smaller time frames now. Because on the monthly, big old pump, rejection, we can still fall and finish this candle by the end of the month red. And if we barely hold on here, this could also be an inverse hammer candle. Look at what it gave us here. Inverse hammer candle, massive. Inverse hammer candle started like building, massive rejections. So every time you see run-ups like this get stuffed, the reason why they look like that, because they're exit liquidity grabs. I've just learned to see what these all look like. And also, the other thing that we're looking at for futures, this seems to be the trend that it's going to respect for index for futures on Binance. I really do feel the more we go here, our target area of interest for longs is here, right? 70K. I think 70K is coming. 65 wicks to these levels. The longer it takes, then the higher it goes on our dump. We want to see a magical run up here But for now, shoulder, head, shoulder, right? That's nasty, because if that ends up happening and we just go sideways here, we're just going to freaking go that. Now, hopefully not -0, but you guys get the idea. It's looking at these charts on the biggest time frames changes your perspective big time. I want to go to the 3-day because this is the one where they got a lot of people. They almost got me. That 8 crossed under the 200. That hadn't happened in forever. All we did was pump from there. 3-day. Remember, I was all over this. This is the one chance we have. This candle has 2 days left. Timestamp this. If we lose the 21 and the 8 on the 3-day, everything that we spoke about has already happened. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12-hour bearishness, crossings, all that's going to start happening. We are going to get to this level here. This level here. The closer we get there, then the 8's going to do a reverso cedo, cuz. And this time, they're not going to be able to hold on to that cross with this. They're going to test the next pocket of liquidity, which is what? 70K, right? It's this pocket of liquidity. They're going to break this wick, go test this wick. Mark my words. It's the way TA works. It's the way that this is different TA. This is market maker TA, the way these dudes operate. But again, they drag the 8, couldn't drag it further to let it go up to breathe so then they can fully use it against you. This seems to be what's happening. As a matter of fact, let me just delete all these other lines real quick so it simplifies it for us. Check this out. Literally grab the 8 to then let it ricochet and go back this way. This is what they're trying to do. And the fact that we're below the 8 now lets me know it's entirely possible. And it's pretty freaking nasty. Bumpy dumpy now. 4-hour bullishness coming. Bull flag yet again. Now there is hope. This high, slower, very textured, very particular. But this has been rejecting the 200 all these times after losing it. I don't like it. Why? Because of the bullishness incoming, right? All that. Let's just go white for our line, right? You see, like, all that area right there, I don't like it. In the words of my Mexican homies, no me gusta. No gusta mucho. 4-hour, nasty. Upcoming bullishness. We don't want bullishness on this chart. 2-hour, oh fudge. We're way above the EMAs. If we hold on to the 8, that means the 200 is going to take it down. Here comes the 21. Here comes the 50. Bullishness. Ouch. That means the 1 hour is already well above the 200. Haha. With triple crossing. Right? So the 1 hour is just pulling back right here after the breakout attempt. That means 30 minutes, same thing. Right? Okay. So there's a liquidity gap in these pockets here. So what's going to give? You got to watch the 2 and 4-hour, but mainly the 4-hour on Puppy Dumpy, because the 8 is about to, the 21 is heading to cross over the 50. This cross here, keep going to yellow. What the heck? This cross there should push this here, 21 there to track it, and the 200 to finally start curving up. That's what I'm waiting on. It's what I've been waiting on to short again. Because again, I catch shorts. I don't hold shorts. Why? Why would I hold profit from here to here thinking, well, they're going to go here? All right. I'll rather take my short from here to there and then re-long my short or re-enter my short here. Again, why do we short this chart? Because opposite. When you're longing this chart, you're shorting the market. When you're shorting this chart, you're pumping the market. That's why we call it pumpy dumpy. It's opposite. When this thing pumps, your bag's dumpy. When this thing dumps, your bag's pumpy. You want red, and we're getting it with upcoming frickin' bullishness. Not good. 6 hour. Fudge. The 8's about to take the 50 potentially. 21's next. 200's next. We're at so many 200s that it's disgusting. 8 hour above 200. 8 just crossed above the 200 and the 21's coming. A pullback after a big old freaking run up. What that means is what? That's a freaking bull flag. You don't want bull flags, dude. You know, like if you just, I mean, it's a mini flag, but starting a flag, you'll see it develop further. And when you go to the daily, here's where you have the worst news of everything I've talked about today. I moved this trend because it established a new trend. Nasty. Oof. Still crazy good trend. Here's what I hate and the bad news I have for you. The 21 crossed under the 50. It already took us down, wiped out liquidity, and the longs worked. When a bullish act like this happens and we're taking it and we're close to being above that area again, that's not good. Not good at all. And the wider the 8 gap and 50 goes, look how wider it's getting. Okay. It's getting wider because the 21 moves faster than the 50, obviously. But what are they trying to do here? Here's what I think. And here's how I've been cooking. They can't drag this 21 further down. So they have to let it go up. Right? So in order to do that, they're going to create these gaps so the 50, right, and the 21 have a wider gap. So when they get to this candle, they can zigzag here and grab liquidity. They typically don't like being just above this area here. Immediately, that's why they wick it and go below, right? So paying attention to that is where I see, oh, I should close my short because they're going to go grab more liquidity. They did. They grabbed liquidity. We now have bullishness. We're above the 8, below the 21, but the 50 never crosses under the 21. You can't move the 50 over the 21. The 21 moves first. So now that we're under 50, this cross won't happen again to give us more red. Now, if anything, we get there, we're going to curl that bad boy. And that curl sensation, that play sometimes works when you need a first down. Not when you want the freaking market to just keep going. That's not the curl you want. And that's the bad news that I really had in store for us, because look at this crazy trend that it's on now on the weekly. 1 wick, 2 wicks. Remember that trend that we kept drawing here? It wasn't official on the weekly, only on the daily because of the way the wicks work, right? Well, it's getting ready to give us an official 3-touch trend. We are now approaching, we need one more candle to fully close at this area. And dude, it validates everything we're talking about, validates this bull flag right here on the weekly. And it's just nasty, nasty momentum. And here's some more fabulous news for all you bulls. This monthly candle looked freaking nasty for a while. Red is what you want to see. Fully engulfed the move. And it started working into engulfing 1/3 of the total move over the last 3 months. In 2 weeks, it took 1/3 of a 3-month move, and it's eating it again. As soon as this monthly candle ends, we're going to have an official 3-touch trend to perfection. Wick, solid, wick. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I can see these things just by looking at the weekly. Then you can look at the 2-week, which I've already done, right? You guys just kind of see the finished product. But look at this. Wick, wick, solid. 2-week candle ends in 13 days. So just start it. So in 2 weeks, this candle closes. completes a perfect trend. On the weekly, okay, we got 2 weeks to see if we can lose this trend. That's the battle. But on the monthly, if this candle starts eating this up even further, oh man, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this candle finish green and above this trend. If that happens, we're going to see a very disgusting bear market of massive proportions. This candle here cannot go this candle here cannot go green. If it does, I mean, not that I'm going to be even more right than I have been, because that's not what it's about. I'm scared because it's just going to mean max pain for a lot of people. This area is max pain for a lot of freaking people. I'm going to land my plane here on a couple things. Solana front running the dump, heading towards weekly 200, below 8, below 12, below 21, below 50. Let me show you on the daily. Look at exactly what I've been talking about. In order to these EMAs from way up here, they drag them as far as they can go. But now you got to let them come up so then they can head down again, right? Think about it. That's the 8. Look what they're doing to the 8. So now when we're looking here, we drag the 8 and the 12 to above all these EMAs. Now they're acting as your resistance. Like the bear market, the market makers know, get us above so then we can get it below, but it activates all the shorts that they then kick off the freaking profit tier because they don't close positions at these levels. They hold on hopium, thinking it's gonna, because they know these triple actions, all this crossing's coming, so they hold on, but they get liquidated before that happens, or they get shaken out. But now we're below 21, below 50, below 12, below 8 on the daily. 8 is gonna cross under the 12 before anything else, it seems. And once that happens and we get this nasty, nasty triple action, this is us much, much lower for Solana. Much, much lower. It's 100% going to test these bottoms. 100% going to test those bottoms. But the fear is after 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts, the 5th one, I'm not looking too confident. Solana's been front running the dump. It usually front runs the move. Well, hasn't front run for weeks, for years now, for a year and a half, almost 2 years. It's starting to front run the dump. How can I tell? On the daily, we're below all the EMAs. Look at the daily. We're not below all the EMAs yet for Bitcoin. Ethereum, same thing. Watch. Ethereum's front running different. Look at the daily. Look at that. Went to its 200. Bro, no one else went to its 200 on the daily. Look at Bitcoin on the daily, right below. CME, no chance, right? Solana on the daily, no chance. But Ethereum, this is how dumb the Ethereum market makers are, guys. Or they're just savvy with taking your money. They took it to the 200. No one else went to the 200. Ethereum did. That's the cash grab. And now look at them cheating. But what's going to happen is if that 8, same thing, starts crossing, you start paying attention to Ethereum, you realize that scam just by this little purple line. It tells you what everyone else isn't doing. And why is Ethereum doing that? You're healthy. Look at even Pumpy Dumpy on the daily. It did not go to its daily 200. Look, big time far. Ethereum's front running because they know it's exit liquidity season. Solana's front running to the dumpy dump, which is already happening. Pumpy Dumpy is consolidating, putting some massive ass trends together. Bitcoin and everything else is trying to figure out what the CME is going to do. So they keep trying to freaking give us these false pumps on the weekends. The CME is saying, yeah, y'all do whatever, but we're going to keep freaking taking this free money. Any questions? The coffee's good. Anybody else wants to add some TA here? I know we got Ghost in the building. I was drinking some coffee here. But anyways, guys, exit liquidity season it feels. And now you guys kind of know why. I hope you get to tap into the mind of a serial trader. We watched Dexter catching up, and what's funny, one of the cool things that I've enjoyed about that show is just how meticulous he is. That the few times that he makes a mistake, we're so all over him. Like, bro, you got caught or you almost got caught because of this. What I love the most is just that meticulous behavior led him to somehow that fool has been not caught for 30 years. Obviously, it's a fantasy show, but my whole idea is I'm that meticulous with trading that it's going to be years before these dudes come and take my whole frickin' port away. They'll have to target me. Now, I don't have that kind of money for them to target me. So that's why I kind of confidently can say they won't come after me. But you get my point that I'm trying to make is that I'm so meticulous with it that there's no chance the market's just going to take my frickin' money. Any questions by anyone? If not, we're going to go wrap up the show. All right, guys. Well, this was Trade Talk, powered by Novex Finance. As always, you guys know the drill. I think we have some streams later on. Ghost, are you streaming today?
Yeah, I'll be streaming later on this evening. My fault. I'm on a phone call with the dentist, but I'll be up in a minute.
Oh, for sure. Well, we're going to wrap up the show. You're good anyways. All right, guys.
Bless you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, much love, man. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't joined our Telegram, please do so now. Oh, yeah, that's the new time on Mondays. Yeah, that's what's up. So Monday, Motivate University. Also, I do have a little bit of a poker announcement I'm going to make, but I'm not going to formally make it just yet. But I'll give you guys a little hint. I just got signed for my very first poker playing deal. I'm getting taken care of to be able to stream tournaments and go out and cook, baby, on poker. So look out for some poker streams. People took notice of us playing poker all the time and winning some tournaments and just kind of kicking some tush, like I said. And it's a poker playing household. And now we have a pretty big announcement to make on a sponsor that's sponsoring me to actually play poker. Never before. This is my first ever. It's like getting staked to play poker at the casino by some dude that just knows you always shred. He wants your action. But then, dude, I'm not going to make it just yet, but be on the lookout for that. And then other than that, we're going to be, streaming a bunch of poker, streaming games. My son and I streamed zombies over the weekend. We made it to round 45 on our first stream. The game before that, we quit at round 43. We didn't stream it, and we're like, you know what? Let's go for the stream. And that was my son and I's personal together record at round 45, and then we just died. But anyhow, we're doing all kinds of cool stuff just to increase just community stomping grounds, a community coffee shop. Dude, what do we do while we're watching charts? We game, we create music, just create all kinds of content and just do a bunch of stuff. So anyways, just be on the lookout. We stay being ready with whatever it takes to have some fun, but be ready to make money. So be on the lookout. We're going to keep cooking. And as always, this is just our hustle. And we just got to paint the story, baby. Tell the story.
Charts light up, glow brighter than the Vegas Strip. CME gaps got the streets on a crypto trip. Candles dancing, wicks slicker than a hustler's drip. Novex move silent, no need for a clip. Legend in the trade, fingerprints on the block. Blockchain buzzing every tick like a Glock. Defy dreams, I'm stacking on that Eve rock. Wallet full of alpha keys, turn never lock. Novex finance, where the game gets flipped. Candle pattern sparking every chart we grip. Decentralized hustle, never sink, never slip. West side grind, making coins do
flips. Bulls charge hard, bears lurking in the fog. Patterns in the smoke, I'm the wizard with the log. Fibonacci spirals, I'm the code in the cog. Crypto moves sharper than a diamond-studded dog. Green and red candles paint Picasso on the screen. Liquidity pulls deep, pockets never lean. Whales swim silent, but I peep the scheme. Alpha moves nightly, cashing out the dream. From the Satoshi code to the ether's flame, Novex rewrites rules in this money game. Charles speak the gospel, prophets proclaim. West side rider, blockchain my claim.